Have you ever been completely worn out from chasing a woman you love, only to find that no matter how hard you try, it all seems pointless? Other men, on the other hand, seem to easily attract their dream women and live happily ever after. What are these men doing differently today? We'll look at some of the most important ideas in Stoicism to help you approach relationships with wisdom, self-respect, and dignity. We'll also talk about 9 powerful ways to make yourself more beautiful. You can use these tips for more than just romantic relationships. They'll help you get along better with everyone and live a happier life. If you have trouble not putting too much emotion into relationships or just want to connect with people better, this video is for you. We'll bust some common myths, help you see connections more clearly, and give you good advice. If you want to change how you connect with others and yourself, stay tuned because these insights could be a game changer. Share. Don't forget to like this for your own growth and happiness. Please support our channel by subscribing and leaving a message below if any of the upcoming revelations hit home for you. Let's begin. 1. Embrace your inner strength. In the journey of personal growth, especially from a Stoic point of view, there is a huge difference between being truly good and just being harmless. Stoicism tells us not to be passive, but to build up our inner strength and resilience. Society tells you to tame your competitive instincts and not be too assertive. They might even tell you that being non-threatening is the best way to be. But this misses an important part of personal empowerment. It's not about aggression, it's about potential and control. Being a controlled force means recognizing your abilities, even those for disruption or assertiveness, and learning to master them. Think of a lion. It's not the lion's aggression that commands respect, it's the lion's calmness. This is how you should act, in control of your own power. If you walk and talk with the confidence that you are whole in yourself, you'll be more attractive to possible partners and in all of your relationships. This isn't the same thing as not needing anyone, it's being able to tell the difference. Stoicism doesn't teach you to hide your darker sides. It teaches you how to accept and manage them. Remember that someone who can't show their strength when it's needed will probably fail when they face problems in the real world. Finding this balance where you are strong but not overbearing, capable but not reckless, and powerful but calm is what real strength is all about. In practice, work on improving yourself, control and respect for other people and yourself. Make your skills better. Do things that push you and always aim for personal excellence. For example, instead of chasing relationships, invest in yourself. Learn a new skill, expand your knowledge, and create a life that people are naturally drawn to. This will not only help you grow as a person, but it will also give you a genuine and compelling presence that people admire and find attractive. You should be strong and whole, not because you want to be liked, but because you are living by your values. It's important to remember 2 things about attraction when looking at it through a Stoic lens. Don't chase them. Chasing someone, especially in a love sense, is bad for your personal growth. Pursuits can often show that you don't know what you value or that your values aren't aligned with your actions. Stoicism teaches people how important it is to be self-sufficient and value themselves, which are values that are lost when someone is constantly chasing after someone else's love. You might be afraid that without this person, you might not be whole. This is a common mistake to think that happiness and worth are outside of ourselves and must be aggressively pursued in others. However, this approach not only lowers your self-esteem, but can also make you less attractive in the eyes of those you desire, because people tend to value what is rare and self-sufficient. Desperation, on the other hand, often leads to disinterest, so instead of focusing on pursuing others, work on your own growth and pursuits. Take on new hobbies, learn more, improve your physical and mental health, and invest in your career. These things will not only make you feel better about yourself, but they will also make you more interesting and attractive to others. For example, think about the difference between someone who spends their evenings and weekends trying to make friends and someone who uses that time to learn a new language, volunteer, or make art. The latter person gains skills, confidence, and a sense of fulfillment that naturally attracts others. They are not seen as trying to make friends. They are admired and sought after. When you live a life full of personal achievement and happiness, you create a magnetic aura around yourself that draws others to your self-confidence and independence. Stoic philosophy says that the best way to attract good relationships is not to desperately seek them out, but to become someone who is worthy of being pursued. In other words, work on becoming the best version of yourself. Live a life that other people want to be a part of, not because you need them to fill a void, but because you have so much to offer. Remember that true attraction is about drawing people in with your vibrancy and completeness, not chasing them in hopes of validation. Third, work on your own happiness. One thing that really sets respected people, who you might call alphas, apart is their ability to make their own happiness. This isn't just about being positive. It's a deep understanding that happiness comes from inside, not from connections or validations from the outside. The Stoic philosophy of controlling oneself and one's emotions tells us that our actions and choices determine our happiness, not how others treat us. Often people base their emotional state on how others, especially romantic interests, treat them. This dependence turns them into mere reactants to someone else's presence and actions, giving others too much control over their emotional well-being. For example, someone who thinks that winning over a certain person is the key to their happiness is setting themselves up for disappointment because they put their sense of worth and emotional stability in the hands of someone who is naturally unstable. Stoicism tells us to focus on making joy out of the things we do every day and the thoughts we have about them. You can find or make yourself happy in easy ways, like through a hobby you're really into, a professional accomplishment, or personal growth. If you're someone who grows a garden or writes every day, for example, these activities don't depend on other people's approval and are fulfilling in their own right. By fostering this inner contentment, you naturally become more attractive and interesting to others. People are drawn to those who exude genuine happiness and confidence. Imagine meeting someone whose happiness comes from within and who isn't looking for someone else to fill a void, but instead offers a partnership of shared happiness and growth. This is a much better situation than one in which happiness is seen as something that can be taken from others. Instead of making someone else the key to your happiness, focus on the things that make you feel fulfilled and alive. Let other people share in your happiness instead of making it happen. This change in perspective not only makes you more emotionally strong, but it also makes you more desirable as a friend who adds value instead of one who demands it. Number 4. How to give meaningful compliments in the world of people-to-people relationships. When used wisely and in moderation, praise can be very useful. Stoicism, a philosophy that stresses the importance of being real and engaging in meaningful relationships, can teach us a lot about how to compliment someone, especially in romantic or personal relationships. Everyone likes getting compliments, but the key to a good compliment isn't just noticing someone's looks or other superficial traits. Especially women get a lot of compliments on their looks, from their hair to their eyes. If they get too many, it can feel fake and pointless. To really stand out and make a mark, you need to make an effort. Compliment her on things about her personality or accomplishments that show you value her as a whole person, like how she handled a tough situation, her unique sense of humor, or her insightful comments during a conversation. These kinds of compliments go deeper and show that you value her for more than just how she looks. Also, when and how you give compliments are just as important as what you say. Instead of pulling her aside to give her lots of praise, give them when she needs them. Use these sincere compliments easily in your conversations. This method is less annoying and lets the compliment be seen as a genuine expression of your feelings instead of a calculated move to win her favor. By focusing on deeper, more personal traits, you show that you're paying attention and interested in who she is as a person. This not only makes your compliments more powerful, but it also fits with the Stoic principle of meaningful and authentic living. Instead of using compliments to get her to like you, use them to connect with her and build mutual respect and admiration. This way of complimenting not only sets you apart from other people who might be trying to get her attention, but it also helps you make a deeper connection with her. When she thinks about the people in her life who have complimented her, she will remember you as someone who not only noticed her but also understood her, which could make her love you even more. Fifth, show what you believe in. Many men struggle with self-respect and finding their purpose in life. They get stuck in cycles of inaction and regret, which, in the words of Stoic philosophy, means they didn't choose the pain of discipline over the discomfort of regret, which leads to a life not lived. Stoicism tells us that it's important to live by our values and be strong enough to face the world, even on our worst days. It's a theory that values character over fleeting wants. When you constantly act out of desperation, you lower your own value. If you don't value yourself highly, you can't expect others to either. For example, in romantic relationships, why would someone be interested in you if you are insecure and lack discipline? Even if you find temporary companionship without a foundation of self-respect and purpose, a lasting connection is unlikely. On the other hand, when you focus on personal growth and achieving your goals, your self-worth rises and naturally attracts others to you. Women are drawn to men who are strong and stable instead of wasting energy on chasing others. Focus on building on your skills and going after your goals. Find out what you're good at and make a promise to get even better at it, whether it's a professional skill, a personal project, or a physical endeavor. Doing well in these areas not only makes you a better person, but it also makes you more appealing. As Stoicism says, greatness is on the other side of hardship, and you need the right mindset to get through these problems. Accept discipline. Make yourself a man of value who chases dreams instead of short-term wants, and let your deeds speak for themselves. You make a life for other people want to be a part of, not because they need to complete you, but because they like and respect the person you are. This shift not only improves your relationships, but also changes the way you live your life and attract real connections. Number 6. Understand the psychology of attraction. First, let's bust a myth. Ignoring women or acting uninterested won't make anyone fall in love with you. If it did, every shy or introverted person would be the center of attention, which obviously isn't how things work. What does work, though, is understanding the subtle psychological principles that can boost attraction without using tricks or games. People have used different methods to find partners in the past. Some have shown off their physical prowess, while others relied on wit or charm. From a Stoic point of view, the focus is not on manipulation, but on understanding human nature and using this knowledge in a wise and moral way. So how can you spark genuine interest? Being honest and factual in all of your contacts is a good way to go about it. When you talk to integrity, you slowly build trust and credibility. People naturally want to be with someone they know will be honest. This is true for all relationships, not just loved ones. Being trustworthy and honest makes you more attractive, and it can naturally make people lower their guard around you. For example, When you share your real interests, successes, and even your weaknesses in an open way, you show that you are genuine and relatable. This kind of honesty is appealing because it makes others feel safe to be themselves, which is what makes all strong connections possible. Also, knowing about the psychology of attraction means knowing how important time and patience are. Stoicism teaches us to live in harmony with nature, which in this case means understanding that relationships need time to grow and shouldn't be rushed or pushed. This patient method is very different from the frantic and often useless efforts of people who desperately want love. Instead of chasing after someone, work on improving yourself and your own virtues. Passionately go after your goals and interests, and let your deeds speak for themselves. People are naturally drawn to people who are committed to personal excellence and who live full, interesting lives. By following these principles, you can develop a magnetic personality that attracts others not because you use tricks, but because you have qualities that are naturally attractive, such as confidence, dependability, and honesty. These are the signs of someone who knows not only the psychology of attraction, but also how to be a good person. Accept that when you're interested in someone, it's normal to see them in a mostly positive light. That's the nature of infatuation. It makes the good things stand out and hides the bad, creating an unbalanced view that can lead to disappointment and problems in the future from a Stoic point of view. To build good, long-lasting relationships, it's important to stay neutral and emotionally balanced. Stoicism tells us to see things as they really are, without letting strong emotions cloud our judgment. For example, when you're in love, you might not notice potential flaws or red flags, which could make it harder to connect with someone on a deeper, more realistic level. The goal in any relationship shouldn't just be to find a partner, but to build a lasting, compatible bond. So, instead of letting your emotions control every decision, when you meet someone new, take a step back and use your logical mind to decide if the relationship is a good fit. Think about how well your values align, how you both handle conflict, and whether your life goals complement each other. This isn't about focusing on the bad, but about striving for a balanced you that includes both your strengths and potential challenges. Let's say you meet someone who seems to have a lot of the qualities you admire. It's easy to get swept away by these good qualities, but it's better to watch how they deal with stress, act in different social situations, and treat the people around them. These actions can tell you a lot more about their character than how they act on the surface. Being neutral doesn't mean not caring about anyone or not being interested in them emotionally. Instead, it means interacting with potential partners in a thoughtful and deliberate way. It means not letting your heart lead you without your head giving you feedback. Make better decisions about whether to deepen the relationship by making sure that your emotional investment is sound in the long run. Taking a neutral stance can save you a lot of emotional turmoil. It helps you build relationships based on mutual respect, understanding, and real compatibility instead of idealized perceptions that can lead to heartbreak. Stoicism tells us to control our emotions with reason, and to approach relationships with a mindset that values lasting connection over fleeting emotion. Eighth, raise knowledge of cults. People today often offer easy answers to difficult issues, especially when it comes to relationships and self-improvement. These answers often come in the form of one-size-fits-all advice that promises quick results to those desperate enough to look for one. But Stoicism says that real wisdom comes from understanding how complicated life is and taking a more thoughtful, individualized approach to challenges. Watch out for people who give advice that seems to work for everyone. If you follow that advice without thinking about your own situation, it can make you feel frustrated, like you have no control over your life, and start to feel bad. The Stoic way of life stresses how important it is to listen to your inner voice and use thought at the same time. It's about staying true to yourself while dealing with other people's advice and expectations. For example, if you're trying to improve your social interactions or maybe find a partner, you may come across tips that say you should act or say certain things. But blindly following such advice without thinking about whether it fits with your personality and values can be harmful and ultimately useless. We are all different, with our own skills, weaknesses and life experiences. Instead of looking for and following, think about what works for someone else. It might not work for you. Solutions for everyone. Pay attention to getting to know yourself and what's important to you by thinking about your past. Recognize your uniqueness and follow advice that fits your personal values and the circumstances you're in. For example, if someone tells you to be more assertive, but you value kindness and empathy more, then change how you interact with others to find a balance that works for you while still trying to be effective. Being mindful and self-aware will not only help you avoid the pitfalls of general advice, but also empower you to make choices that are more likely to bring you real happiness and success. Stoicism isn't about following rules. It's about knowing the ideas behind them and using these ideas wisely in your own life as you deal with all the different relationship and self-help advice out there. Don't forget to keep a critical, considering mind. Check the truth and usefulness of what you hear, and always think about how it applies to your own life. By doing this, you develop not only wisdom, but also the strength that comes from living in line with your true self. This path doesn't lead to short-term successes in chasing desires, but to lasting fulfillment and important accomplishments. Number 9. Take advantage of the many chances that are available. It may sound hard to hear, but accepting that there are many other people out there is important, especially when it comes to relationships. This way of thinking is important not only in the context of romance, but also as a broader life philosophy. Stoicism teaches us to see the world as it is, without the distortion of our strong personal biases or attachments. The person you think is irreplaceably special is actually just another person among billions. When you focus intensely on one person believing they hold the key to your happiness, or you give them too much control over your emotions, and, by extension, your health. This way of thinking can be very bad. It limits your options and can lead to what's called a inel mentality, in which you feel alone and angry because your expectations aren't being met and your view of relationships is skewed. Take a look at the idea that falling deeply in love with someone without understanding their role in your life can get in the way of your personal growth. If you think there is only one person in the billions who is right for you, you might miss out on great chances with other people who might also be a good match. You might also give up your self-respect and worth to pursue an idealized relationship that only appears in your head. Stoicism warns against this by promoting a view of life that puts personal virtue and independence above approval from others. Remember that about half of the people in the world are women. Realistically and statistically, there probably isn't just one great match for you. Accepting this can free you from needless despair and obsession. Instead, work on having a sense of worth that comes from who you are rather than who you are with, can help you build relationships that respect each other's boundaries and help you grow as a person. By broadening your view and recognizing the many possible connections, you can lower the pressure on yourself and the people you meet to be perfect or irreplaceable. This way of thinking not only makes you stronger mentally, but it also makes you more attractive as a partner. When someone knows their worth and sees the world with clarity and promise, they are naturally more attractive. They aren't desperately looking for someone to make their life complete. Instead, They are open to real connections that make their already full life better in some way. Having a stoic attitude toward relationships means realizing and welcoming the many chances in life that let you keep your dignity and self-respect in all your interactions. As we come to the end of our look at how Stoic principles can help us build better relationships and grow as people, this point of view not only improves your personal life, but also keeps your emotions in check. An important message should always be with you. Always try to be better than you were yesterday. Every day is a new chance to strive for excellence in every part of your life. It's important to understand how the mind works and use simple, moral methods to connect with those around you more deeply. It's also important to remember that clear thinking and wisdom should guide your decisions, not emotions. Emotions are important, but they can get in the way of doing the right thing. Watch out for advice that seems too easy or that takes advantage of your need for help right away. Sincere effort and a deep understanding of the principles involved are what lead to real success, not just looking for quick fixes. Finally, remember how important it is to tell the difference between simple goodness and the pursuit of true virtue. Building depth and strength in your character does more than just make you stand out. It gives you the strength and honesty you need to handle the challenges of life with grace and purpose. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about similar topics, don't miss the recommended video that should now be showing up on your screen. Make sure you click on it for a more in-depth look. I also want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Doing so will give you access to a lot more content that will help you learn more and start a more thoughtful and impactful journey through life. Thank you very much for watching, and remember that the path to personal excellence never ends. Every day is a chance to move forward, learn, and grow. Each step you take is important for making your life more enjoyable and enriching. Embrace this never-ending journey and let each new day motivate you to reach your highest potential.